In this YouTube channel I will show to demonstrate how we can create the REST API in the .NET 9, and today we are building something you can actually use, a task manager API. No theory, just hands-on coding. If you are ready, let's jump in. Okay, so here I am choosing the BAP application. This is the BAP API project, and I have create this, and this is the current code, and we need to change the name like task manager API. This is task manager API, and next, and save it. So this is the 9 and create. So here we will create 4 or 5 endpoint for the task, and we will use SQL Server, and we will test it in everything in the Swagger. So all you need .NET 9 SDK installed. Okay, if you don't have the link, then I will drop the link. Okay, so this is our project. You can see here is the controller folder, and this is the main file, program.cs file, and this is the app setting. So in this app setting we will add some configuration thing like app setting and keys, all the things. Okay, this is basically we can add here the keys to use our application. Okay, and here is the one controller. This is the by default controller, so .NET provide by default to see how it will work. Okay, and this is the program.cs. Okay, so now I am going to create the controller, add the controller, new item, API. So you need to select the API controller. Okay, because here other option also, so you don't need to add this MVC controller and razor pages. So simply you need to select the API controller. Here you can change the name like task, but you can change name before the controller, and other let it be like task controller, and I have added. Okay, here now this is the controller. Okay, in this controller, for sending the request we need the model. Okay, then first we will create the model folder. Okay, this is the model, and I have create the model folder. In this model folder I will add one class for the task. Okay, so I will add the task here, task, and it should be task item like. Okay, this will be class. You don't need to select the interface or code file like that. Simply you need to select the class, and simply you can add. Okay, and in .NET we can add the property like public int id, so it will be task id, and other we can add like 1 2 3 4. So one will be the id, and second will be the title, and third we can add like description, and fourth we can add like status, it is completed or not completed, and four we can add when it will be create. Okay, so created date and completed date. Okay, so we can add like completed date. So it should be title, then it should be string, and other it is also should be string, and is completed like it is the boolean completed or not completed, so we can make as a bool. So if you so boolean like when we use like true or false, then we can add the bool data type, and created and completed it we can use date time, because we need to send the date. Okay, so this is the date time and this is the date time. Save it, task item, copy, and now you need to use in this is model in your controller. Okay, so where is the controller? Sorry, I have added the wrong place, so I need to add here controller, and it will be API controller. Task controller. One more model we need, because we need to add the connection, so we will add the data folder here, data folder. So this data folder we will add one DbContext class here, like this class will communicate from the database DbContext.cs. Okay, or we can make it capc DbContext, but DbContext it will be default, so we can add app DbContext. Okay, so we will inherit from the DbContext. So it should be auto generate. It will be okay. So let me explain one thing also. So when we need, so first we will install this Microsoft Entity Framework. Okay, and it will be installed. Edit information package. What is the issue? Install with package manager. Okay, and installed. You can see the dependency if it is installed or still not installed. Okay, finish. What is the issue? I think now it is installed. Okay, so I think I have used 9 point version, then it will be issue. Okay, now it is installed, but we need SQL Server also. SQL Server browse. Okay, this SQL Server we need to use for code first approach. So we will install, so we will apply some migration command. It will be 9.90, and for entity framework we need one more tool, like tool, design tool. Which one? Design Core design. Okay, Microsoft Entity Framework core design. Okay, oh, then we need same version. I will install with 9.9. Install, accept. This is model, so we can use this DbContext class, or we can either use the model, or we can create one more folder like entity. So entity, always suppose if I add the entities like that, new class, first I will add one folder, new folder, entity, so this entity will be communicate from the db. Okay, or you can use this model class also. Okay, for now I will use the model class, the task item. Okay, but for request we can use one DTU also. This is the DTU. So here we can use request DTU, task request DTU. This request will be same like that. But the difference is it will be same like SQL table. So if you use like that, it will be from data annotation. Okay, it will behave like a primary key now. Okay, so this item we will use in DbContext class. So now we can inherit the DbContext class. Okay, now you can see, and after DbContext class you need to add one constructor, public, and public app constructor, it is same name of the class, so this is the class name and here is the app DbContext. Okay, now we will pass DbContext option. Okay, it is showing by default. Okay, this is we need, and we can remove this thing also here, and this will be public dbset. So which, suppose, let me dbset function. So in this function, suppose if I add this task item, then it will be generated in our SQL site. It will be behave like SQL table only. So this is part of the code first approach. So we can means communicate from the DB with two approach, code first approach and DB first approach. But now I will show to you this code first approach first. Okay, so this task item from the model. Okay, here we can add the namespace and we can give the name here. Okay, now DbContext is final. Now we need to add this app DbContext in the program.cs. Okay, we will open this program.cs, and here we have this add controller. Okay, here we will add our DbContext connection. Okay, so before adding the connection we need to define the connection string. So here our app setting. Okay, so in the app setting we can add one more variable here like connection string. Okay, so we can add it the connection string here. connection string. This will be connection string like that, and here is the connection string, and here is the, like, we can give any name. Default connection string, default connection string. Okay, here we will give our connection string name. Okay, my connection string name, so I need to open my SQL server. Okay, this is my server name. So simply we can add here like server equal to, my name is this, and data set. Suppose if I give the database name like database and equal to database task db and trusted connection. I think we need to add caps T, trusted connection true, and trusted server certificate true. Maybe spelling will be mismatch. Trusted server certificate equal to true. So this is our connection string. Okay, trusted connection true. Yeah, I have saved, and now I need to add this in our program.cas. Okay, I have copied this thing, and now I will go to program.cs, and here we will add like builder dot service. So we are using DbContext. Okay, so add DbContext, and in this DbContext we need to inform to DbContext that this is our DbContext class. Okay, so this is the DbContext class. Here we can define, and now we need to use some expression like option. I think it is, no, we will use options. Option and expressions. Options dot use SQL Server. Use SQL Server, and in this SQL Server we need to define our connection string builder dot configuration. This is builder dot configuration we are using to get the connection string. Okay, so in the connection string we need to give the name. It will be same name which is we define here only. Okay, so copy and paste here. One, two, I think one bracket I miss. Okay, it is done. Now I will try to add migration. So in the package manager console you can add the migration here. We don't need package manager console. For adding migration you need to add migration command, or we will give the name, like you can give any name, but for initial migration you need to give only initial migrate. It will be good. Initial migration. Oh, so it is should be simple. Init migration. Okay, why add migration not recognize. Okay, add init. No, oh, I think I miss one. Okay, so I think when I explain this migration thing, from this I got some issue, some internet issue, so my video is not recorded. So I will explain again. So what is I am explaining? So I was explaining how we can add the migration. Okay, so simply we can add the migration and we can give the name. So earlier when I tried to create the migration, then we are getting the error like that, this error. Okay, this error we can resolve from this package. So we don't have this package, so I install this package. So after installing we can add simply the migration. So I can show to you for different tables. So I have added task description. So simply you need to one more table in the task description, and this task description you need to register in the DbContext class. Here is the DbContext class and here is the task descriptions. So let me add this task description table. Okay, this is a task description table. Add after here means this is the DbContext. So suppose if normally you need to add the class, so it will be same as a table name. Suppose you need to insert the data like in the task description, task id and detailed description. So simply you need to add one class, and this class and this class after adding you need to register here. After register here you need to apply the migration. So this is package manager console, and in the package manager console you simply add the migration. Okay, add migration and add table name task descriptions. Okay, tvl. So for migration you can give any name. So this is the migration I have added. So before adding in the SQL site I can show. So this table is not present here. Okay, you can see the error. Now when I update the database, and it will be generated. Yeah, now you can see the table. Here is the table. Okay, and I also add the task controller. Here is a task controller. So in this task controller I have added that the API thing. So this is for task list, this is for get to see the particular task, this is for create the task, and this is for update the task and delete the task. So this is normal thing. So this is the DbContext class. So suppose if you add any DbContext class, you need to call here. Okay, so this DbContext class we can use by object. I mean, this is an object. From object you can get all the SQL table. Suppose now you need to show the task list or task descriptions. You can get both table here, like task description and task item, but here you need to task item. So simply you need to do list async. Okay, and enumerable we are using for render the list. Okay, and this is the get. Okay, and we suppose if we need the list, then we will use the get attribute. Okay, and we need to get information by id, then we will add http get by id. Okay, same way when you need to put the post the data, means when you need to insert the data, then you need to add http post. Okay, so you can see here I am adding the http post and create the task, and simply I am checking. This is the normal request. Okay, and this is predefined method. So this is already defined in the entity framework, save changes and to list async, like that. So many method in future I will explain everything. So here is the DbContext, means here I am adding the task. After adding anything, you need to add the save changes, then this changes reflect in the DB side. Okay, so this is the part of the entity framework. So same way I have updated the same thing. Okay, and I will show the SQL side, the UI side also. Here's the project. Now let me show to you the table data. Now we don't have the data. So when you refresh this thing, this is the get post. So we will post. Here is the id, and here I will add .NET core .NET series. Okay, and here I will explain like this is task management API project, and this is by default showing because I am using direct this class. Okay, in this class the data type is the date time, so it is showing. So I have removed time thing. So when I hitting this, it will be insert. Okay, now it is showing here. So this is the part of the debugger. Now the data will be inserted. Okay, data will be inserted. Okay, now you can, this is id is 3, so you can check here. Simply execute. Sorry, yeah, it is fine. Task list, because in the task list I have only one item, so it is showing only one item, and here I need to pass the id, then it will show the record. Value id must be an integer. Okay, it is integer only. Yeah, this is the .NET series, and here is the put, so we can simply update the data. So when I pass so this was our request. Okay, so same request I will copy and paste in the put site. Okay, and here I will update only .NET core task management API project in .NET core, so it will be reflect. Okay, the id will be 3. Yeah, it is update. No, I think we are getting some error. Let me check the error. Let me put the debugger. So suppose if you get any error, then you need to find the error properly. So simply I try to update the data. Okay, so I put here, and here is the data. ID is a 3 and check. Okay. I execute. One more validation error. The task field is required. Task field, which one? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Title description ID. Title description ID. Give me a minute. Let me refresh this one. And this the put thing. Here I will try out. So this was the raw data. Okay. So .NET Code series string. This is this task management API project. This is okay. This is task management API project, and other thing, let it be okay. The ID will be 3. Same way here. Execute. Now it is hitting. Now data is updated. Okay, so when I check SQL thing, yeah, .NET Code series and this task, okay, it is updated. So this was the task management API project. Okay, so this is our project, and this was the controller, task controller, and in this project I am using directly DbContext in the controller level, but in future we will use some architecture level design pattern like repository and onion design pattern, like that, singleton. So we will follow accordingly. And here is it is a very simple thing. So we can create the object of DbContext class, and we are calling our tables by using this object. Okay, and this is the code, and this is a program.cs. You can see the program.cs. Here I have added the DbContext class, and this is the swagger UI. Okay, this is a very main entry point class. Okay, I think I covered everything. So this is our app setting. You can see this app setting from my local system. So simply we can communicate the data from the database. Okay, yeah, I have done. So this is all from my side. Thanks for watching. Okay, I will upload some more video also related to this thing. Thank you.